Welcome to Screen Recaps, and today we are going to be recapping the first two episodes of Resident Evil. Episode 1 starts with a look at our protagonist, Jade. Walking through a dystopian wasteland, she takes a caged rabbit and walks through the devastation. The year is 2036, and we're 14 years after the end. There are still survivors here, though, as Jade video calls back home, but it's clear her contact is sporadic at best. The last time she spoke to them was 6 months back. The purpose of this rabbit soon becomes clear. It's bait. Jade is doing research into the zombie hordes to see if they have any sort of leadership structure. Hint, they don't. But oh no, our protagonist cuts her arm, and as a result, she's forced to flee. Zombies aren't the only thing on the menu, though. There are also giant burrowing worms, and one of them smashes through the concrete and looks set to kill Jade. Thankfully, she's saved by a trio of soldiers who show up and fry it with bullets. We're 10 minutes in, and already we get a Deus Ex Machina device. This isn't looking good. Anyway, these men check Jade's wrist and comment how she's a survivor. We also have a second timeline here, as we jump back to New Raccoon City 3 months before the end in 2022. Our setting is South Africa, where Jade immediately comments how there aren't many black people in this neighborhood. Jade has a sister called Billie. And there's definitely no accident that Billie Eilish is playing, and Billie has a similar streak through her hair and acts like an outcast. Anyway, their father is Albert Wesker. Wesker has been doing blood tests on the kids every few weeks. He's also been injecting himself with something too, but that'll remain a secret until later on. Billie is an outsider, and she's teased over being a vegan, eventually leading to a big fight between her and another girl. Wesker meets Roth at the lab, who shows him some footage of an incident over in Tijuana. There have been 6 injured and 3 dead. Nothing's gone public, but as Roth comments, it's happening again. With this hanging over Albert, our stressed father heads to the high school where he sorts out this fight malarkey, forcing the girl to apologize. Back in 2036, Jade wakes up to find herself in the Brighton Freehold. There, she meets Tate, who happens to be one of many scavengers. They have a helicopter to fly people in and out, and it soon becomes clear why driving is off limits. Their stronghold is completely surrounded by zombies. It's here we learn that Jade has been studying Zeros, which is the name for zombies here. Jade confirms that there are 6 billion zombies and only 300 million humans left, and Jade has decided that they need to try and live with them, likening the zombies to Ebola or AIDS. Unfortunately, Tate and the others are well aware of who Jade is. Umbrella have a warrant out for her capture as she's their #1 most wanted survivor. Mr. Baxter touches down, kills Tate in cold blood, and proceeds to have all of his men spray the base with bullets. None hit Jade, though, who manages to slip away. Returning to 2022 for now, Jade and Billie break into Umbrella Corporation that night, which is completely unguarded for some reason. Using their father's voice to gain entry, they break into the lab and notice a ravenous mutated dog which chases them through the hallways. Billie is subsequently bitten and begins to bleed out. Jade kills the dog but bemoans her stupidity. As the episode closes, we cut back to 2036 one more time. Baxter catches up with Jade and tells her, "Your sister is looking for you." Jade shrugs that off and tells him to stay away. And with that, she jumps off this stronghold and straight into the zombies. Episode 2 returns to that cliffhanger. She lands hard on the roof of a car, but somehow survives without breaking both her legs. With barely a scratch on her, she proceeds to stand up and sprint. Thankfully, some Deus Ex Machina saves the day, again, as an armored car breaks through and Jade bags a lift from the driver. Jade promises this survivor to help him get away from Umbrella. Unfortunately, he's attacked by approaching zombies. However, this also gives Jade time to drive this car herself deep into a cave. This comes out into another settlement in Dover, this time with Jade donning her hood and evading contact from the authorities who are on patrol. Her target is a contact known as Barry. When Jade shows up at his door, though, she learns Barry is out. Her only point of contact here is Melinda, his wife. She points out that Umbrella are all over the city with cameras and patrols. She's pretty happy about that, though, pointing out that the place has been completely free of infection since then. It turns out this stronghold is actually in Dover. Jade manages to call Arjun, who pleads with her to get across the channel to Calais somehow. It's still dangerous, but apparently France is Brotherhood territory. Melinda overhears the call and everything goes awry. It turns out Barry is not away for work after all. He's actually chained up in the bathroom as he's infected. Jade demands Melinda's help. In exchange for keeping her secret, she wants a way out and to cross the channel. However, the only solution here is to get a notepad that lists Barry's contacts, which are all inside his pocket. So naturally, Jade conducts a ridiculous mission to take this from Barry. It doesn't end well. Barry breaks free, charges at Melinda, prompting Jade to kill the zombie. Jade is completely nonchalant to the whole affair, and eventually leaves Melinda to grieve her husband, Barry's notebook in hand. Jade works to try and get a lift over to Calais, but unfortunately, Baxter shows up right in the middle of all this. In 2022, Billy is still alive and jokes how she's not a dog person anymore. She has a pretty nasty bite up on her shoulder, and Wesker soon shows at the lab to direct traffic. He demands Jade apply pressure to the wound and take her sister away. As for Wesker, he scrambles all the CCTV footage and intends to hide what's happened in the lab. Protecting his girls, he puts blood over him and makes it out like he was the one who stopped the mutated dog. Here we're introduced to our Umbrella CEO, Evelyn Marcus. Wesker warns that the virus has side effects, and after what happened in Tijuana. Evelyn ignores all that and decides to move production across to their main HQ so they can keep an eye on the virus's production. Evelyn also mentions her wife Diana, whom she's happily living with. Anyway, Wesker hides Billy's bite and tries to get her patched up. The infection is clearly spreading. As for Wesker, he injects himself with his serum back at the lab. Jade, meanwhile, finds a hacker guy at school called Simon, and together, they research the Tijuana incident. It would appear that Umbrella are keeping some pretty big secrets, which naturally leads her to speak to Angel Rubio, an investigative reporter. Angel points out how Umbrella are covering up the truth, and how it all started with someone being bitten. And we know exactly how this goes, given Billy has also been bitten. As the episode closes out, Billy heads out to chase down her dog, but in doing so ends up scratches a jogger who isn't sure if she's really the pet's owner. This is the beginning of the end, as we have a completely inappropriate pop song playing as Billy begins to turn.
I thought I was